Hello there, once again, dear viewers, and welcome back to a Moonflower Tarot reading. And today I'm going to be channeling messages from the higher selves of the ancestors, the ones in this world that are helping the collective, as well as some of your ancestral karmic baggage or any lessons that you are learning in this life. If you identify as a cycle breaker, or if you've been just trying to find some relief, the ancestors want to provide guidance for you and reassurance. Everything is going according to the way it should, and the way it is doesn't always match what we expect or how we expect things to go. And if you've been feeling a little bit lost lately, if you've been feeling out of sorts, then this message is for you. It's general and timeless, but I do pray it finds you when you need it the most. And now, right away, I just want to say, bear with me. I've been having a little bit of a hard time, mostly just seasonal stuff. But right now, it does feel like also the collective is kind of moving forward way too fast, but also slowing down. Losing and regaining equilibrium. So, what we are seeing is kind of a division of an old mindset to be replaced with a new one. And now, during times of struggle, duress, stress within the system of the collective, we also see that and share that with each other as far as our ancestors go. Because we all actually just share one common ancestor when you get down to it, considering how old the planet is and how old the human race is. We have been here for a while, but a lot of people in modern day society have lost sight of what makes things work, and the connection to the earth is suffering as well. When we're seeing the rhythms of the earth happening, our ancestors knew how to work through it, how to roll with the punches. And we are seeing this split of the modern day society mindset of all or nothing, black and white, going in the direction of what is logical, what is tangible, and essentially what is greed and a fallacy of the body, if that makes sense. But our souls and our ancestors were like, we are working in tandem with each other and the earth. And there is no separation between us, there's no segregation. We are all this one family moving together, and our souls are like really striving to get back to that. You might even be preparing for some sort of tribal reunion, whether it's a literal getting together with your family or even discovering new chosen family. Maybe even identify as a starseed, and maybe trying to search for your soul family. But I am picking up certain types of ancestral lineages here, and if you identify with these, good. But remember, this is general, so only take what resonates. And some of you might not know some of your ancestors or some of the karma you might be dealing with, and all karma is just like a reaction to the choices we make. And if our family we're born into has a certain type of pattern, we are often called in as souls to either release the family line from the pattern or to release ourselves, because oftentimes we are called to families that are repeating the same pattern our souls may have made in other lifetimes, or we did break those cycles in other lifetimes and a family is calling to you for help. And that will heal like everything and everything around you, because how families interact with each other is very important too. We're all a community and we all share different aspects of that. And some of your ancestors might have come from, I was hearing Mesoamerica, Central America. The specific country, Nicaragua, came up, and that is in Central America. So you might have like I'm hearing ancient, like Mesoamerican ties. I was seeing like the temples there, Mayan, Aztec, also Mesopotamia came up, Indonesia as well. So also Israel, Egypt, that area, as well as I was also getting Plains Native American, American Indian, however you want to identify, uh, as well as because I keep hearing ancient ancestors. So this is like back when the Earth was still like figuring itself out, and we were working with her. It was before like we had all these modern conveniences, but we were still working together. We were very culturally, spiritually, and technologically advanced, because to make those temples and pyramids, it takes a lot of like ingenuity, creativity. And when you're kind of just working around trial and error, you figure out how to make things work. And that's the beauty of it. The reason why they were able to create those things is because they were kind of working with both the spirit of the earth and the whatever gods above. Like I was even taken to, I don't know, um Aztec or Mayan gods or goddesses, so you have to bear with me. But there's something about I forget what it's called. I'm going to butcher the name. I think I might end up writing it in the description below. But basically, it's the feathered serpent god, is the god of arts and creativity, basically. Um, so there is this need to honor certain aspects within yourself and the connection with the earth, as well as the ancestors, and maybe even researching where they came from and what they did and how they communicated with each other, the earth. Because there's so much like beautiful architecture, there's so much beautiful like how they constructed around the environment. They worked with the environment, not against her. It's like that's kind of what I'm feeling is needed right now. And however you apply that to your life, you might be dealing with some generational baggage, but I was also feeling perfectionism as well coming up. If some of you have like Chiron and Libra or Virgo were big ones coming up, that might be something that's coming up for you to work on as well. And the key, the wounded healer, just this idea that you have to be constantly perfect on time, like on the dot, turn around in a dime, heal in 2 days. But there's also this feeling of you might be dealing with now a chronic illness or an illness that is inherited in your family, and you don't know how to deal with it or what to do with it. And you're being asked to throw out the old mindset of needing to be perfect, needing to be available all the time as well, and working with a little bit more earth medicine, or just looking at things that are slightly maybe different than what you're used to, as far as how you shape your routine around what works for your body. And if you're getting older, like you're not going to be able to do the things you used to. You're not going to be able. So being able to rely on a community to lighten the load or ask for help and resources is needed. And I'm hearing one of your guides say, suck up your pride and just take the hint and take the assistance, because it's like this is what it means to work as a community. Like I don't I don't understand this mindset of everybody has to be a lone wolf, everybody has to do things hyper independently. It's just so baffling to me, because that's what we've been kind of ingrained in our society. But we need the collective, we need a community. It's one thing to be self-reliant, but you can't be doing this all on your own if you do not have the means, the opportunity, and the strength to as well. So that is coming up for a few of you. I got some finger wagging from from like an auntie somewhere. They're really watching over you, and Archangel Michael has been really watching over the collective as well. He has been very vocal and present with me and in this reading, so he's here. The Starseed is connected with this message also. Mintaka, Sirius, Lyra, possibly Andromeda. If you are an older soul, then you're being called into your family to heal generational wounds. It's like no pressure. But yeah, if you have those signs like Virgo, Libra, Chiron, I was also very specifically taken to the moon in the fifth house. If some of you have that, then that is a sign. There are certain aspects of yourself you might be hiding and might be quiet about. Fifth house is ruled by Leo, and whatever sign your moon sits in, because you could even have a Libra or Virgo moon in the fifth house, and that is kind of like, yeah, if you're an artist or you're putting any sort of work out there, like you don't have to perfect your craft. You polish it and evolve it as you go. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Just because you haven't found the formula or you're not creating your masterpiece, it's like you just put yourself out there and you will get better as you go. Like that's the thing. You will change over time, and you need to put yourself out there because you need to hear constructive criticism. That's how you get better. That's how we all get better. People will be like, that's great, but would you consider tweaking this or maybe using this thing or this tool or this program? Whether you're an artist or you're in construction, whatever your craft is, and or whatever work you are doing, you need to put yourself out there, allow for criticism, and allow yourself to grow and evolve. And that might be something that the ancestors want to help you with too. It's like, how do I just go out there and be me? How do I dance in public when I haven't perfected the move or I don't look good? It's like, it doesn't matter. You keep doing it. And why are you doing it? Because you love it, because it's something you want to do, because it brings you joy and happiness, and you're spreading that to people. You're not doing it to be perfect. You're doing it to be you and experience life. Some of the other messages that came through as well is you might have had ancestors who were farmers, fishermen as well, or I was also seeing chickens and eggs. You might even be raising your own chickens, hens. If you live in a more rural area, um, yeah, because I'm seeing a little boy or girl hugging a chicken, and that's really important. Because the other message is being very much aware of how your food is raised and cared for. And now you might not be eating the chicken, but the eggs, like if you love a chicken, you will love her eggs. And we are seeing the rise in a lot of contamination, a lot of illnesses, because how mass produced everything is, the animals and the plants even are not cared for or nurtured properly. So they are basically sick. The soil is sick, the water is sick because it is not being cared for properly. And then we eat that. So even if we go to a place we think we can trust or organic, if we buy it, we are still being subjected to what is essentially the mistreatment of the earth, and we are consuming that, and it is making us sick as well. So there's not really much a lot of us can do, but if you do have the chance, the means and opportunity to grow some of your own stuff locally, remember to be very kind. Be kind to the plants, be kind to your food as it is growing, because that will be inside you and that will nurture you. So I just wanted to say that because that was the thing that was really very present here, is this feeling of being nauseous and not ever having a really actual warm loving meal. It just feels like there's something missing, and there's this negative attitude over the collective about what it means to kind of be a consumer, so to speak. And I think that is also kind of making the whoever's watching over us very angry, because it's not our fault. We cannot control that, and we are often too busy to be. You can't be your own farmer, and if you're not able to buy locally, it's like you have to go to a store. You have to go to a place where the meat came from a factory where they were not treated well, and then you eat that and you feel unwell. And some of you might need to have that in your diet. It is perfectly possible because, we are all different bodies. We are not all built the same way. Though we came from the same source, there needs to be variety, but it's hard. So don't blame yourself, first of all. And there is going to be a collective shift where we are going to be thinking differently. Over time, it's going to be easier. And it's going to start with you. Okay, well, this Okay. You are a cycle breaker, world stopper. Okay, so one of the songs that came up, and I will write them in the description if they are helpful for you, because I also heard some of you connected with ancestors or specifically a father figure through music. If you, yeah, because I'm seeing 80s, 90s music, or even 70s rock. If you were the type of person that was close to your father, you spent a lot of time with them, you connected over music, and they will speak to you through music, whether they are here or not. Or your ancestors will speak to you through music as well. The song Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears came up, but specifically at the end, when he's like, "This is my four-leaf clover." Um, yeah, so that specifically came up as like someone is trying to speak to you through music and the memory of a specific song, not necessarily the meaning. Some of you might be dealing with matters of the heart, trying to fall in love and just not knowing what to do. But this feels like you connected over music or with other people. You speak kind of through music. If you identify as being more neurodiverse, that might be your love language is sharing music, or just this is how I feel, and then you play a song, you know? Because I heard the song, I'm sorry, I can't be perfect. And I'm like, God, I feel that. I know. Oh my gosh. That's a hard place to be, to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to be perfect. Because literally the sign of Libra came up, and I mean, there's a little bit of that, a need to balance something out. If you have a sun, moon, or rising in Libra, there could be this feeling. I'm hearing feng shui in your life. You need to rearrange things in your life to make it flow a little bit better. But you are really mastering something and breaking a cycle. Like the world. Mm, so there's okay. Yeah, I'm hearing the world does not revolve around you the same way your ancestors thought it needed to in order to survive. So there might also be this survival mechanism as well. You're going from survival to thrival mode, basically, besties. Excuse me. Um, the other song that came up was literally listen to the music. How does it go? Da da, listen to the music. I'm gonna write it down and look up who sings that song. But that really came in very clearly, because is it the BJ's? Michael, I don't know. I'm trying to ask him. He's like, you just look it up and write it down later. I'm like, okay. So yeah, because I was just seeing like, and like even bands from the '70s and maybe even the Beatles. Yeah, because I heard the song "Let It Be." Ooh, okay, right. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Okay, so what's sticking out to me in this card? And this is the main theme, which is very funny. So in this deck, we have the fox and the black cat, which represent the elements of earth and the elements of water. And the black cat is also the shadow or the familiar of basically the witch, but also appears in the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is in tune not only with our shadow and has control over it, but she understands her intuition and flows with it effortlessly. So we are seeing this need to connect the elements of how we interact with the earth and how we move with our own intuition and our own internal flows. This has to do with a cycle that is persistent and ever flowing as well. We're looking at the cycles of the trees, the cycles of the moon. Everything happens in a cycle. There a beginning and an end, but the end is not permanent. It is just the opening for a new beginning. So no matter how old you are or how you feel, like there's never actually a true ending for our immortal souls unless we so choose it, because we are all fragments of God and we are his memories enacting certain parts of our lives and then kind of perfecting it, growing, because our vessels act as an egg for that growth, the growth of our soul and the growth of the families that come after. and the healing that happens generations after we do the work. Even if you don't have children, every single person you interact with from a place of enlightenment and healing is going to be benefiting from that, because you're putting a piece of your soul into them. You're putting a piece of your wisdom into them from a place of love and unconditional compassion for the earth and the people who live here as well. I'm hearing, so this is very specific. I'm hearing you're getting into live action role playing, which is, yeah, because I was seeing a bunch of people like doing a live action sort of Dungeons and Dragons game out in the woods. You might even be going to a convention, their Comic Con, or a, I'm hearing PAX East, which is very specific, but or even in something in this is very much a United States based thing, in Texas maybe. Just be careful when you're traveling. If you do have the free time, like I'm hearing, okay, if you're close enough to these locations, this is very specific. Limit your airtime, travel on the earth, because there might be sites along the way you need to see. Because I saw the Great Ball of Yarn. That is very specific. Go on a freaking road trip. Take some time off, like take a little vacation, you know, just be able to be out there in nature and enjoy the earth that we have around us for what it is, wherever you are in this world. Even if you're not here, in the States, like if you're in Canada, like I'm hearing you do you, bestie. I was just taken to Niagara Falls. Yeah, what was it called? There's this, okay, that's funny. The Rainbow International Bridge, I think. So I love that. Like, be a bridge between worlds, because we are all the colors of the rainbow, making the world brighter. Was there anything else? Just breaking a cycle and just completely standing in your element. The need to breathe life into your world and just balance these elements. So I think that I'm going to get some more clarifiers and see what else. Being grounded. Some of you might have some important news coming up soon as well. There's something surrounding the Christmas holiday season or Hanukkah season. I'm even hearing Kwanzaa. So in that area, December 21st, between the 27th of July. Oh, goodness. Okay, so that's a 6 month period. 6 months usually denotes a time of change and integration. Because something that my my angel teachers taught me when I was, excuse me for 1 second. So one of the lessons I learned when I was healing from different cycles or integrating certain lessons, the time frame they gave me for how long it takes to learn a new pattern or start to unlearn old patterns was specifically 6 months. And every 6 months I got to check in with my guides, my higher self, like, where are we? And then there would be some sort of test in the real world, or some upheaval, something would be removed, or someone would show their true colors. So there's this need to understand your own cycles. It might not be 6 months, but there might be a time frame where if you have a goal to either find help with something, heal, or some of you might even be looking to go into higher education if you graduated high school or college, and you're looking to almost retrain yourself and your brain, giving it time and the space necessary to do so, because it's not going to happen even in 6 months or a year. It's going to happen when it happens, but you're slowly integrating some new way of doing things, of approaching the world, maybe even making money and finding stability. The Queen of, yeah, because I keep seeing the Queen of Wands. Like, I'm going to pull another clarifier. While I got the moon reversed. Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of 80s music actually, because I heard relax, don't do it. That's funny. What I am seeing, like I'm pulling cards over here, and I'm like, we got the moon, and I got judgment. Like I'm just feeling like, okay, so there's an end of a cycle coming here. You're in the end of a cycle. Let's just say I'm hearing new moon. The new moon phase might be helping you release old patterns of behavior, integrating new ones. And let me just repeat, it's going to happen slowly over time. This type of thing does not happen overnight. It can, and I'm just going to warn you, this could take a lifetime to heal. But that's why you're here, because in the grand scheme of infinity, like spending what 50, 80, 90 years on this planet, what that's just a blip. That's just a blip. And then whatever you don't, let me just tell you this for the sake of your soul, whether your conscious mind does not understand it, like whatever you do not learn in this life or do not heal, you're just going to continue in the next. So better to try to do this here to unload enough baggage that when you move on to whatever life you go to, whatever family, they're not having to carry that. They could be a slightly better, more healed version of you, whether you like even believe in that and whether you identify as being like able to reincarnate. Like some of you might not even know or consider that that's a thing, and I think that I have to clarify that for some reason. I if you don't believe in reincarnation, well, um that's gonna be this is going to be something you have to kind of work through on your own. But as far as this reading is concerned, just know that there's always enough time to do what needs to be done. Even when you feel sick, even when you feel like you're too young or too old, that's an illusion. Let me just say that. Prepare for me to break your brains. That's an illusion. In the grand scheme of the universe, even as an old soul, like literally, it was revealed to me like where I came from, and my soul is so old. And they're like, so you're basically a baby in your spirit tribe. And I'm like, how can I be that old? How can I have like origins in those places that from our perspective don't exist? Probably weren't even real for some people, but for me, those memories are like, oh, it happened yesterday. And the universe and sources, like, you have any idea how infinite this is? You are still just a child. And now imagine if someone has only had a few, what, thousand incarnations on this planet. They're so tiny, they're just a little baby. So just keep that in mind. There's always time. You just need to trust the universe and put in the effort and believe in yourself and love yourself, because you deserve that. And there's sometimes a reason that I had to learn when I was first awakening that, even though you can tap into spirit and maybe, ask for help and what's going to happen, there are certain things we have to experience as a soul. We can't be told ahead of time. We're not being given a syllabus as to how to live our lives. That is a matter of free will and choice. And no choice is a wrong choice. There's just a choice that might have a good or bad reaction depending on what we choose to judge it as. But it is just merely a response. And the universe kind of wants you to choose a path or a pattern of behavior that reflects better on who you want to become, because your ancestors may have gotten to the habit of doing something that reflected poorly on them or caused for them to have to put into more effort into doing something, if that makes sense. Because I'm kind of feeling like there's a little bit of frustration. Like you're trying to search for answers and you're not getting any. Because yeah, I pulled the moon card. I'm trying to kind of keep this simple because I'm getting a lot of energy here and there's a lot of frustration. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what's out there. I don't know anything. It's like kind of you do, but you have to believe and trust yourself. And that's the hardest lesson to learn when it comes to this, because you're not going to have outside help. You and you alone hold the answers for you, who you are, what you want to be. Your free will is what drives you forward. So stop looking. See, I'm getting, and it's funny because I'm getting a lot of contradictions. even in my own mind, I'm like, stop looking within for what you need to do. Look without. And it's like, is that really the message here? Hold on. I need to confirm this. Start looking within you. Yeah, start looking within you for help and stop seeking outside validation because it's kind of hurting you. There might be some outside energies interfering with you as well. So if you have the opportunity to just take some time for yourself, just spend some time with yourself alone and really sit down and ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want to do? Maybe journal it. Maybe write down something scripted. Just even say out loud, this is what I want and this is what I accept. And then this is what I don't want to do. Because I'm just getting the feeling there's outside interference. There's something clouding the energy. And you might be taking on too many opinions at once. Uh, mm, if you are a healer, whether you are in a medical profession or not, you might be dealing with, okay, logic, science, math, because I'm getting this feeling of your intuition is being contradicted by the science, logic, and math behind things, either in your field or in your energy. There's this conflict between the logical mind and the emotional body, which you kind of have to sort out, because the only way for us to actually reach through those contradictions is to kind of sit and hold both simultaneously in order to find your truth. And you might also be dealing with you or others around you masking symptoms, and you're trying hard not to let something through. Like you're masking yourself to avoid vulnerability, and that might be hurting you a lot more too. Because now I'm seeing this Three of Wands, and I'm in my mind's eye, I'm like seeing the tarot rider. Sorry, I found it very hard to talk suddenly. Give me a second. So, in the traditional tarot, the Three of Wands, I believe we see someone looking out at the ocean, waiting for the ships to come in. So that's where I got the song. I saw three ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. But I was just seeing that image of you looking longingly out across the ocean, like waiting for it to come in and thinking, well, my ship has sailed. I can't go there and the ships are not coming. It's like you have to be your own ark and your own ship. Like stop looking in a direction that you know you're not going in and start moving on your own, contradicting maybe what you know, because a lot of the patterns you have to unlearn are going to feel uncomfortable. And I'm hearing it's unfurling for you on your behalf. If you've had a lot of things happening in your life that are contradictory, it's for you to kind of find the truth within yourself. Which one do you choose to believe? And you might not choose either. And I don't really have any good examples, but if we're looking between, science, logic, math, and reason, and the esoteric and spiritual and the emotional, there is a possibility you have to find a middle ground between them. And that's going to be coming from your own perception of the universe. Because here's the thing, like, we are not alone in this universe, but our identities and our mask we wear kind of make us a little bit more alone. The spiritual nature and aspect of this world wants to be reclaimed within you. And to embody the spiritual and the emotional aspect, you have to sit with yourself, face your fears, and just indulge in those emotions because they are equally a part of you. And just take it slow, take it steady, because this is not an easy path to travel. To be someone who has to be in between two extremes and try to figure out which one is your perspective, because there's not one correct perspective in the entire universe. We are all like art collectors in a museum viewing this work of art together, but we all see it in different ways. We all place value and judgment. What do we focus more on? If we're looking at a work of art, like even in this card, are we focusing on the fox? Are we focusing on the cat? Or are we focusing on this woman who is just the embodiment of all these elements? What do you choose to look at? What do you choose to believe in? that that's the whole purpose of existing. It is your choice. And you might be afraid to make one because logic and reason will point you in a direction, and logic and reason are just illusions. They are judgments we placed upon things in the world to make sense of it, and nothing makes sense. Nothing will ever make sense. No one will ever know everything there is to know because the universe is always growing, always evolving, and recreating itself. Therefore, it is impossible to know everything. And are you okay with not knowing everything? Find peace in just knowing absolutely nothing and being okay with it, because these two little animals are there at the beginning of the witch's journey. They are there in the Fool card. And in this deck, we're looking at the evolution of a very spiritually enlightened soul. Because I'm seeing the color lavender and I'm hearing lavender energy, to be peaceful and at one with yourself, knowing that it is impossible to know everything. There are no answers, but there is clarity and there is perspective, and there is love and there is peace. Those are possible, and you can maintain those within. It's just about respecting the side of yourself that sees things differently and clearly than the people in your peer group might see them, and then having an enlightened version of that sight. So this has been your message today, wisdom from the ancestors, and I really pray this helps you, and I hope it works out. Whatever you're doing in life, just know that you're loved and you're protected. And thank you so much. I will see you in another reading.